Now, the IEC says it's ready to host the second and final leg of the voter registration drive in anticipation for the polls. But are they really? Let's speak to election expert Lulu White, who joins us now via our telephone line. Lulu, it's lovely to speak to you. Thanks as always for making time for us here on 405. And that really is the first question, I beg your pardon. This is the final push for the IEC. They've spoken about 27 million registered voters on the voters roll, which is unprecedented. But does it go far enough?
Yeah, I think, look, judging from the first voter registration, it does appear that the IEC is ready. As you just mentioned, the previous voter registration yielded very high numbers of registered voters, and there's an expectation that they'll even do more, even in this particular voter registration drive as well. Given the type of preparations that have gone into this whole process, I do have faith that the IEC has actually prepared itself adequately to be able to handle whatever pressures or challenges that may arise out of this voter registration weekend.
Right. This is just one of the many hurdles, of course, in the lead-up to the election itself. Getting people on the voters' roll is one step. Getting them to pitch up on voting day is a completely different discussion.
Absolutely. Getting them to pitch on vote. I mean, we have seen that in the past. We've seen very high numbers of people going to register to vote. But then come election day, people are just not interested. And there's never been any, I'm not sure whether the IEC has been able to actually find the miracle cure, to be able to cure the difference between voter registration stats and election day stats.
Yeah, and it's not a South African problem, but I wonder, Lulu, to what extent we're getting any closer to understanding why that is. Perhaps it's got to do with the fact that registering is pretty seamless. Anybody who's done it online will agree that it takes just a couple of minutes to do. But the state even makes voting day a public holiday in an attempt to remove the hurdles for people who may have very legitimate reasons why they can't pitch up. But still, for whatever reason, they don't.
Yeah, I think perhaps another thing it could be that it's the queues, because they're quite long. But also just to give credit to the IEC, I think even on voter, except for the long queues, when you actually get into the station, the whole process of actually going in and getting a ballot and all those things that you have to do, it doesn't take more than 5 minutes. So I do think it's just a matter of patience. Perhaps people are not patient enough to stand in long queues. In during voter registration day, you've got more than one opportunity where you can go and register to vote. Whereas in voting, you only just have 1 day, and obviously the queues are longer.
Yeah.
No voter registration, except also, I mean, now with the added online voter registration facility, makes things even more easier. That works out. But with there was targeted registration, there was the first one, now this is the second one, and throughout until the president actually proclaims the date of elections, people are still able to go to any office of the IEC to go and register to vote.
Sure.
And on the basis of that, there's many opportunities for people to go and become registered voters. But when it comes to election day, it's just the 1 day. And that could be the reason perhaps why not a lot of people come out during voting day.
Another possibility, at least if the commentariat is anything to go by, is this idea that a lot of people just don't buy into the electoral system. They don't believe that it makes a material difference in their own lives. And I suppose in some ways the IEC has responded to that. I mean, their big refrain, if you like, their caption for this year is, "It's your democracy, own it." Are we winning the fight on that front, do you think?
There's a lot of work that still needs to be done with regards to civic education, and I think this is where there's a disconnect. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done with regards to civic education. Unfortunately, at the moment, it does still appear that a lot of people feel that their votes do not make a significant impact. It's a responsibility of not only the IEC, but also political parties and civil society to actually go through the steps of actually explaining why it is very important for people to know why it is important for them to vote. And I think people just seem to take for granted that one vote does make a difference. When people go to the polls, they just want to vote the 1 day and then they see the difference. And that's not how democracy works. Democracy is a process.
Absolutely.
But,
and as
yeah,
I say,
they have to pan out. Yeah.
the wheels of justice, even though they do turn, sometimes feel like they turn very slowly. Lulu White, thanks for speaking to us. I appreciate your take as we lead up to this final voter registration drive. The stakes are high, and hopefully everybody plays their part. Lulu White speaking to us there as an election expert.